Good morning, guys. Hi, it's me. Really short video, might be a few minutes, but I thought I'd share it with you nevertheless, because the first thing I did this morning, thinking what can I look at, and I thought, let me try and see if I can get that DivMMC working. Just bear with me a sec. Expecting anybody at this time of the day. It's Easter weekend, isn't it here? Hope you've got lots of Easter eggs. But as I started to get into this, I thought I'll try and share this while I'm doing it, because it just might be interesting. It might only take 5 or 10 minutes, this, so it will be short. I don't plan on doing anything else after it. I'm going to go composite mod that other spectrum actually, but I won't do that on stream. Hang on, let's just try and get the power for this darn thing. Yeah, there we go. Hello, Keith McGurr. Good to see you. Let's switch to live chat. As I say, it might only be on for a few minutes, guys. So you remember that this wasn't working, and we found that by bending it upwards, it was working. So you can see what I started to do here. I found the weak side. There was one side where the glue was not very well glued, and I just literally put this craft knife in, and it started to separate really easily. I've not damaged the edge or anything there. And it's gradually started to come up. You can see the buttons popped out here. So I think if I don't know, if I'm really careful, I might be able to separate this side here. There you go, you can see it's come apart, look. So yeah, thankfully I can just glue that back on. There's no problems at all, no damage. So the other buttons there, look. So the issue must be somewhere in here. The other thing I did do off stream there, you see this centre pin, it was bent yesterday, so I pushed it out and I crimped it when it was out with these to straighten it, because it was bent. Hopefully you can see now it's perfectly straight, and I retested it. It wasn't any different after that. So let me just move the camera a little bit so I can just point you downwards while I have a look at this and see if I can work out what is going on. Not sure why my camera's just decided to go and wobble around on that thing. So yeah, how's this stuck in here? It's not glued in there, no it's not. Put it there. So I was kind of expecting a bad solder point, I was kind of expecting a bad solder point somewhere on here, but you know what? They look fine. So it's a bit of a mystery as to why you have to bend the thing. Just going to inspect with magnification. Just bear with me. Because the solder points there look really chunky and thick, if I'm honest. It's very unlikely that that's the actual issue. But trust me, whenever I get anything at all, you know, because one of the things I'll point out, Dave posted a comment there yesterday saying they'd never had a one returned. You know, the quality control is very good, and I can see just looking at this, the solder work is very nice, the assembly is very nice. So it wouldn't surprise me if they'd never had one of these ever returned with a fault. But clearly there's something weird with this one, because it's doing the same thing on two different boards here. I'm a little bit stumped at the moment, just looking at the solder connections as to what the issue might be, actually. I'll show you a close-up in a minute, just bear with me. I don't know, it's an absolute mystery. An absolute mystery. I think we might have to try and reflow something. We might need to reflow one of these little, I don't know, is that a resistor array or something there, or something similar? It's not the solder points on here that are bad, is it? Yeah, if you look at the solder points, so you can see how chunky these are. So it's not like we've got too little solder on them. But we do know that when you bend this like one way like that, it starts to work. That side again. Yeah, that looks fine. I don't know, it's a bit of a mystery. It could be obviously a bad connection on that. The regulator, I'm thinking it's not likely to be that. I guess the points you perhaps need to look at, if this looks really good here and looks like there's no way that that's possibly the issue, then you've got to look at where you've got smaller amounts of solder. So it could be one of these smaller components here. But yeah, I cut myself off, didn't I? As I was trying to say, is I guarantee that you get a run of products, right, where everybody's happy with it. There are no returns. Yeah, I get one, and I always get some minor glitch that I need to end up fixing myself. I don't know how that works. I talked about it when I had the that Knight's Chance cart for the Neo Geo AES. I ordered one of those for my birthday. It was like my 40th or something, I think, at the time, or somewhere around that age. I forget exactly when. And every other one that had been sent out, there'd been no returns, no issues, no nothing. And I got mine and plugged it in, and it didn't work. And I ended up having to take it to pieces and shave a tiny piece of plastic off one of the fittings because it was, you know, lifting the cart, you know, because they've got two lots of slots on the AS carts, and it was meant that one side was joined up properly and the other one wasn't. And I had to do an adjustment to it, and it was like I was the only person that had to do that. You could argue that maybe my AES was the issue there, the slot not being perhaps as good as it should have been, but every other cart I had and I have work perfectly on it. I never had to do anything with any of those. So again, I'm just off camera, just examining the solder points again on the slot, on the cart slot, you know, the cartridge edge thing there, but I can't see that being the issue because there's quite a lot of solder there. I don't see any breaks or anything like that. So let's inspect around the smaller ICs. Yeah, I don't know, I can't see anything weird. I was hoping it was going to be an open and shut case. I was hoping I was going to be able to see something really obvious and resolder it. Maybe we should just try and reflow these to start with. Let's do that and just see if that makes any difference. I can't imagine that's going to be an issue. I might just increase the temperature actually because they're pretty beefy, thick connections, those. Let's go up to 400. That'll be fine. Oh, thank you for that donation. Very much appreciated. Yeah, happy Easter. We've got lots of Easter eggs. I've got a white chocolate one in the cupboard. I tend to find that dark chocolate gives me headaches. So yeah, I got a white chocolate egg this year with the shopping. So I mean, technically I should add some flux. We can perhaps clean these up later, but in the first instance, I just want to reflow these just in case one of these is the issue. The good thing is it's flowing really well. There's a bit of flux still on there from manufacture, and it's making light work of me reheating those actually. Because the thing we can't see here, I can see there's lots of flux, lots of solder, but the thing I can't see is whether it's fractured on the underside of where the solder joins. Because I could imagine that with a bit of force, and I'll be honest, you've got to force these a little bit when you put these into a Spectrum. They're not always easy to get in, and it's the same with all of them, not just the Futures was 8-bit ones. The Spectrum slot there can be really fiddly to get things on. You've got to really press them to get a good join. But anyway, we'll try this first. Let's see if this solves it. And again, this could be cleaned up later with a bit of flux and stuff, and then I could clean the flux off, but there is sufficient flux on there. I can see, you know, and it is melting here. Just got to make sure I don't bridge any when I'm moving sideways like that. Could be super short video this. If this works now, we're done. So yeah, don't expect me to be hanging around at the moment. I might come back later if I can think of something interesting to show you. In retrospect, yesterday's stream was, yeah, not the best thing to do as a Z80 swap, was it? Just because it took me so blooming long. And I kept blocking the camera with my arm. I'll just inspect those because I want to make sure I've not got any shorts there from having done that. Yeah, it looks all right. I've smeared the solder at the base on one or two of them. I don't think you can see that. Yeah, if you look carefully, you know, you can see that little where I've smeared it out a little bit there. But with a bit more fresh flux and a reflow, I could clean that up. Anyway, let's go take that over there. Let's try it. What was up with it? Well, ever since it's arrived, I haven't had it working. The only time I had it working was when I pressed it upwards slightly on both of these. I don't know why this camera's just wobbly. It's like the stander's decided to... Oh, I know what it is. I think. Yeah, it's that. There we go. Sorry about that. So let's carefully connect it up. Let me just get the ESD wrist strap on. I should have really well handled it over there, but I'm sure it'll be alright. Pretty resilient, these sorts of things. So let's connect it up. Right, let me go and get the SD card because I've just realised I left it on the mat. I'm guessing that's not going to fit because I did not see any bad solder points when I was looking at that. Nothing obvious. Nothing obvious. So let's get the card in. And we'll get the power in. Wow, it's working. That was it. That was it. Let's mute the sound, guys. It really was that simple. It was a bad connection there. They looked perfect. Yeah, you saw there's lots of solder on them, and that's what you want on connections like that, to make them reliable and robust. But just after having done what we've done, as you can see now, it's doing it every time. That's fine. It's coming up with, you know, it's loading Exodus there. It's an old picture because it's RF, but it's working. So yeah, it is just my luck. It is just my luck. The time when someone sends me something that works perfectly the first time, I tell you what, I'll be gobsmacked. I mean, the same thing happened when I got the a number of different things. I had it when I got the Neo Geo carts there from Terra Onion. I was, you know, and it was early days. They were, you know, ruling, you know, fixing some of the bugs and things like that. But I tell you what, I had no end of trouble. Lots of other people were fine, and it was just because my MVS and there were some bugs and things that those guys spent hours working through, and you know, we got to a good, you know, a good conclusion at the end of it. So there's always a fix to these things, but it's always me. I always just fall unlucky with these things. So yeah, that's amazing. Because hopefully, as you could see through the camera there, the solder points, I mean, they don't look any dissimilar now than what they did, really. All I've done is just reheat them, and now it's all right. So I think it was a fracture. You know, it was a fracture somewhere under one of them. Perhaps from me wrenching it off, because you've seen how you know, it's pretty stiff. They're all like this. It's not just the Future's 8-bit. It's just the designer thing. Look, it's pretty stiff. You've got to put a lot of force like that. So obviously, the point when you do that from the shell, you are putting lots of pressure on here, and then when you try and remove it, sometimes you've got to kind of pull it one way or the other. You can't just pull it straight back. That would take an incredible amount of force. So inevitably, you end up wobbling it like that, and that's how you can easily damage these things. But as Dave Curran said, I've got to echo that, I'm the only person that's had a fault with one of these. They haven't had a single return. They've all worked. So, and I can assure you, I haven't deliberately tried to sabotage this or anything like that. It's the last thing I would do, because I thought these were glued. I think they are to a degree. I wouldn't want it to go inside one of these, because I thought, you know, I'd destroy it going in it. But I thought, well, faced with what we know, the fact it wasn't working, I would have to go inside it. It was either that or send it back to Future's 8-bit. And I'll be honest, knowing that it was working when you pushed it up, it was obvious that it was something I would be able to fix myself, I think. If it wasn't that, the next thing I would have done is got a bit of flux onto these small the resistors caps and things, but probably the regulator, this chip, that looks fine. It's, you know, you can see very clearly the solder points look really good on that. But by the time you look at something like that there, see if I can focus, the pins are really small on it, so you could have a bad joint on there if you're unlucky. But anyway, yeah, I mean, logic says that's going to be the most likely thing. And the other thing for people who might have just joined is I straightened up that pin, because that pin had been a bit bent. Again, that could be from me removing it and manhandling it a little bit, that pin, but it won't make much difference. It's just the divider there to make sure you get it correctly aligned, because you can see you've got a cutout on the board there. Anyway, let's plug it in. Let's just try it a game or two and see what's going on, because we haven't actually loaded the game properly on this at all. Apart from when we just managed to, you know, bend it into position yesterday and load one single game. So it'd be interesting to see how it works now. Which buttons work? The top one. Yeah, the top one brings the menu up. So I'm super pleased with that. Let's just have a look in new releases. So there's an Aliens game there, isn't there? I'm not sure whether it'll load on here, because that looks quite big. I think that's 128k. Let me try that pack one again. That's an emulator, isn't it? Pac-Man. I don't know whether that needs a 128K spectrum, like +2 or something. Yeah, invalid colour. I think it does. I think that needs a +2, that game. Could be wrong. If you know, please post down below. Let's see what else I've got in there. It's not obvious because of the 8-bit file names. Invaders, I think that's another one that's like an arcade port, isn't it? Yeah, ignore the lines across the thing there. It's just the RF, it's not very good at all. Yeah, well that's working, look. I don't know what the keys are. You know, I just restarted it by pressing something. You know, yeah, OP space. So that's working. It's quite a nice version of Space Invaders. That's a bit small, but it's impressive nevertheless. Let's press the button again. Go back. So what else we've got? There should be loads of games in here. Let's try that. Is it Terrapins? That was a new game, wasn't it? Yeah, you can buy some of these new ones from itch.io. I'll cover some of these things when we look at, I'll do a proper review of the Future's 8-bit cart here. Not with no bias towards, you know, me getting a one with a problem. I'll perhaps mention it, but yeah, it's probably, let's say, me manhandling it, perhaps that's done that. I don't know. I don't think so. I've never managed to manhandle any of the carts on the Spectrum, but there's got to be a reason for it. Yeah, happy you got it sorted, thank you. Just reading some of the comments. It won't make any difference putting the case back on, will it? Let's try that. Let's try that. We'll clean up with some IPA now, I think, and then just reassemble it and test it again. Then I'll perhaps end the video, because I did say it was going to be a super short video today. But it was worth showing you, I think, because literally, you know, I would have fixed this morning, and then I don't think anyone would believe me. You'd be like, nah, that wasn't the issue. Especially when I get the lid back on. That's the thing. You might think I've never been in it, because I did manage to get this off without really making any marks on it. You can see where there's been perhaps a bit of glue in each of the corners there to support that. And if you look at the edge here, can you see? It's like there's no damage there, and there's very little in terms of marks there, look. So I've been able to get that out very easily. I've got to try and get these buttons the right way around now. I'm not sure which one is which. One of these has got an LED, isn't it? The LEDs on the board there, look. In theory, it could be either. I honestly can't remember which was which. Was it the white one at the top? Like it may be. And the grey one at the bottom. Let's just have a look at it. Yeah, I think that's right. I think the one that passes the light through was the top one, and that one's just like a reset. So that's the non-maskable interrupt button, that's the reset, I think. So let's see if we can get this back in here. I'll tell you what, we'll just wipe over that with a bit of IPA and a cotton bud. Doesn't really need it. There was a bit of flux there already, as I said. I'm so pleased though. I did think I was going to have to end up sending it back. But I can't criticise the designer or anything that, or the soldering. I can't. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. It looked perfect, but clearly something was not making a connection on one of those pins. You know, so what you want is big chunks of solder like that on things like that to give a good mechanical sound, stable, you know, reliable connection, and that's what it already had. So yeah, very, very weird. Anyway, let's see if we can clip that back on now. So it should snap on there. Yeah, you see, it's pretty hard to press fit that back in. So it's going to hold together. I think it might need a bit of glue to. Is that going to go back in? Yeah, that one's going in. Look, let's see if we can get that one in. They're kind of snapping. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Yeah, so it's perhaps a little bit loose there, and I think that's the side where I started. So it's no surprise, you know, if that's the side that I started on there, that's the bit that's going to be, you know, been bent out a little bit. You know, wherever you, and this is all I did, is stick the knife here like that and just gradually twist a little bit. But yeah, I think you'd agree that's all right. That's fine. So let's go and try it again. It's a lovely design, isn't it? I do like it. And the other nice thing with this is you don't have to mess with the jumpers. You know, if I show you the Lotharek one, you've got them blooming dip switches here. You set those wrong, for the wrong type of spectrum, plug it into your spectrum, you can kill it. With this is automatic. It doesn't matter which spectrum you plug it into, it will just work. Power again. And I think the other telltale sign with this, if you watch this LED here, it should, I think it goes green if it's working properly once it's loaded the driver. Yeah, there you go, look, it stays green. Green means good. Oh, hang on. And then it goes red once it's boots, I think. But then if you press it, there you go. I'll show you on the screen. Sweet. Right, let's find something else. Going to try one of my favourites here, Operation Wolf. One thing I do like about this, the menus navigation is so quick. This is way faster than the Lotharek cart. It seriously is. Right, let's try that one. It might not work, I don't know. Yeah, you always get those corruptions there like that. It's a snapshot or something, and it's not quite right. But once it starts here, there you go, it's right. You can hear the sound a little bit though as well. 5, so let's go up, down, left, right, fire. Grenade, we'll do space. 1. Let's have a quick go at this. I always thought the Spectrum version of this was very good actually. The managed to get the graphics looking really nice. Ah, there is no sound on this. I stand corrected. When I said that last stream, I'm sure there's gunfire sound. There isn't. If you play it in 128K mode, you do get some sound. But on 48, it's silent. One unfortunate consequence of the 48K version, I guess, but still a very good version. There's really high res, you know, the nice detailed graphics there. Not really high res, but Spectrum is higher res than the Commodore, isn't it? See if I can get up to the first round, and then we'll just try something else. I'm trying to think of the name of that game with us. It's got pigs in it, isn't it? Oink, not Oink. There is one called Oink. There's another one as well though. Psycho Pigs UXP. I quite like that game as well. That's a fun game. You run around as little pigs throwing bombs at each other. So many great games on the Spectrum. I can see myself playing this all day now. But you get a much better experience on a 128K machine, you know. Just feels like it's lacking something without the YM music, doesn't it, the 48K? That's the issue. Anyway, that's working. Let's just go back to the menu. So how do we go back? Is it the left? Oh, you can press the dot dot at the top. Dot dot. Back into games again. If you want to try, let's try that. See if I find Psycho. Yeah, Psycho Pigs. I can't remember spell Psycho now. Is it PS? I think it is PS. That's way faster though. The navigation there is so much faster. I wonder if you can actually type a letter there. No, you can't. I pressed the letter there, it just went back out. But it remains, it continues, you know, it keeps its position there in the menu anyway. Let's go down a bit. Can we press right? Yeah, you can press right to go a page at a time. That's really nice. It's faster than going up and down, you know, as I was doing there, scrolling down a page at a time. Here we go. Yeah, there it is, I think. It's frustrating with the 8.1, 8.3 file names there. You can't see, the full file name if you've named it in, Windows 95 upwards or something. But anyway, most of the games have got short file names anyway. So let's do redefine keys, 5, up, down, left, right, fire. Key for lie, I can't remember what lie does now. 1, keyboard, enter, start. It's 2-player this as well, which is really nice. This is one with really good YM music and stuff if you've got a +2 or a +3 or a toast rack. Well worth playing. You get the little bombs and you lob the bombs. They've got timers on, look. So you've got to keep an eye on the timers because if you're near one that's about to explode, it could take you out. And the idea is to obviously take out the other pigs. I think they just got me. Yeah, I lost a life. You get all sorts of power-ups and things as the levels increase. It's quite cool. Bonus round as well. I think we have to like, a bit like whack-a-mole, I think the bonus round on this, if I remember rightly. There you go, from that round. It was a Jalico arcade game, this. Psycho Pigs UXB. Not very well known. But if you ever see it in the arcades, it's a really good fun game to play, especially with another person. Oh, I've blown up again. Anyway, I'm sure you've seen enough of that. I'm going to go and get some breakfast, I think. I might be back later for something if I can find something to share with you. I'll composite mob this off camera in a minute. So thanks for joining. I did say it was going to be a short stream. Thank you for the comments. Thanks for the donation there. Much appreciated. I'll just have a read to see who's here. Retro Gaming's revival. Soldering looks good. Our connector pin's not short somewhere else, like a bent pin. Yeah. Anyway, we've resolved it, but as you say, soldering looks good. It is a good car. I was in two minds before I decided to tear it apart, but as I say, what's the alternative? The alternative was just to send it back to Future as 8-bit. But the reality is, because of the symptoms, we knew I had a good confidence that I could probably fix it myself. Total Fire, going to do a build on stream of I think he says Harlequin 128K D kit. Brilliant, fantastic, Stephen. I'll be watching that. So yeah, if you want to see Harlequin, Spectrum clone being built on stream, 128K one, just go over to Terrible Fire, his channel. Subscribe to him now and keep an eye for upcoming videos on his channel. Stephen obviously does all the Amiga stuff, all the Amiga accelerators and things I've shown on my channel over the last year or two. He's a very clever guy, and he produces some wonderful upgrades for these systems. And as he works through other systems, you never know, we might start to see some nice mods and upgrades and things for other systems. I think in the past he mentioned the Archimedes. He's got a bit of a love for the Archimedes, and I think he knows that platform pretty well. Actually, I think he did an FPGA implementation of the Archimedes. So yeah, just keep an eye on Terrible Fire. It's a channel you definitely should subscribe to. Let's try Renegade before I go. It's years since I played that. Let me go right on the thing. This keyboard squeaks, can you hear it? It needs oiling or something, I don't know. Renegade 48, let's try that. Sweet. Again, this is one of those games much better with 128, and the YM Music keyboard. Yeah, this was fairly early in relation to things like Double Dragon, and actually it's way better than the Spectrum version of Double Dragon. It seriously is. It's so much better. It's nearly as good as Target Renegade. I just find it quite hard compared to Target Renegade. And obviously the map doesn't really scroll anywhere near it does on Target Renegade. You've got like, it splits over 3 screens or so. It's like a fixed location, and you have to obviously deal with all the bad guys here, and then deal with the boss, I think. I remember just knocking them all off this edge. You can like move them around like that, and then if you're careful, you can kind of knock them off the edge of there, look. But I like the variety of moves on this. It was quite a sophisticated little fighting game, really. You can look and knee them. I think you might be able to throw them over you. I don't know. You can like back kick and punch and flying kick. Yeah, there's a little bit of strategy to it, and it's a bit of depth. It's not just a keep pressing the button type thing. And those are the best kind of fighting games, aren't they, really, at the end of the day, where you've got some thought required. I'm going to die, I think. Yeah, lost a life. Let's just see if we can take him out. Is he the boss? I'm not sure. Oh, got me. I lost another life. Good God, you don't get much health, do you? Or is that the first life? Yeah, that's my first life. I thought I'd already lost a life. I haven't. Anyway, right, I'm getting off, guys. I'll just one last check in the chat before I go. I'm not going to go. Terrible Fire, Dutch Retro Gamer, when it comes in the post. That's where he's ordered it from. Oh, he's saying when he's going to do it, when it comes to the post. Terrible Fire wrote Archie Core from Mist originally. Oh, there we go, yes. Yeah, that was hell. But But you learned so much, didn't you, Stephen? That's the thing. I'm sure you did. Franco Walker, I've built the Harlequin, easy to do, so much fun, fully compatible with the ZX add-ons. It's AY sound chip, not YM. Sorry, yes, you're right. I say YM, and I'm thinking of the part number. It's not. Is it not Yamaha? But it's actually Yamaha. That's where I get the YM from. It's AY. This is pretty much the same chip as on an ST, isn't it? The ST's just got a, I don't know, it's a slightly more enhanced version of the same thing. Anyway, thanks guys. That's all it was. A short stream there just to fix this thing. Thanks for joining. Thanks for donations. Have a nice Sunday, and I'll see you later. Bye guys.